meeting of December 16th, 2025 to order. Roll call, please.
Alderwoman Haas. Here. Lorick.
Here.
Ritz.
Here.
Marshall. Here. Gale.
Here.
Guzekowski.
Here. Would all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? Jody, would you start us out, please? Item 3 is approval of minutes from December 2nd, 2025. Everybody please take a moment. Satisfied there's no errors, omissions, corrections, or discussion? Motion.
Haas moves to approve meeting minutes from 12 to 25.
Lorick seconds. Roll call.
Alderman Lorick.
Aye.
Ritz.
Aye.
Marshall. Aye. Gale.
Aye.
Guzekowski.
Aye.
Haas.
Aye.
Item 4 is under recognition, and it's consideration of a mayoral proclamation. It's appreciation to Eater Flag for their partnership and community involvement with the city of Oak Creek. Catherine, when you're ready, can you please read that into record?
Certainly. Appreciation to Eater Flag on their partnership with community involvement with the city of Oak Creek. Whereas Eater Manufacturing Company was established in 1887 by 7 Eater brothers, originally producing pillows, felt pennants, rag dolls, and hunting jackets. And in 1903, the company expanded its operation to include flag manufacturing. Over the years, Eater Flag continued to grow its product line to include a wide range of flags, flagpoles, and related accessories. And whereas in 1959, the company relocated to Oak Creek, continuing its proud tradition and strong commitment to its employees, many of whom have dedicated 15, 20, or even over 30 years of service. And whereas in 2016, Eater Flag became an employee-owned company, securing its continued presence in the community and reaffirming its commitment to the dedicated employees who have helped build Eater Flag into the nation's largest manufacturer of U.S. flags and flagpoles. And whereas Eater Flag has consistently prioritized community involvement and meaningful partnerships. And whereas Eater Flag has supported numerous organizations and charitable causes in the city of Oak Creek, contributing both financial resources and volunteer efforts to civic and educational fundraising events over the years. And whereas Eater Flag served as the headline sponsor for Cafe, a celebration of culture, an event dedicated to honoring our city's cultural diversity through education, dialogue, and engagement, and contributed the flags for Stars on the Square, a walking tour of historic U.S. flags throughout Drexeltown Square. And whereas Eater Flag collaborated with the Oak Creek Fire Department and donated a large American flag to be displayed from the aerial apparatus during the city's Flag Day ceremony held in Drexeltown Square. And whereas Eater Flag has consistently demonstrated the highest levels of civic and community involvement and unwavering dedication to community enrichment. Now therefore be it resolved that on this day, Tuesday, December 16th, 2025, that I, Daniel J. Bakevich, Mayor of the City of Oak Creek, do hereby recognize and wish to extend gratitude to Eater Flag and its attorneys for their commitment and generosity to the City of Oak Creek, Wisconsin, and all its residents. Be it further resolved that the city clerk be and is hereby directed to transmit a suitable copy thereof to Eater Flag, dated the 16th day of December 2025.
Thank you, Catherine. As you can see by the proclamation, this is probably long overdue. Eater has been such a strong partner for us in every aspect of events we do here. I just can't say enough, but at this time I'm going to invite Jody up just kind of to talk about Eater a little bit, and then we'll go to the council for comments. Come on up, Jody.
Thank you for having me here tonight. I'm very proud and just honored to be here to accept this award based not just for myself, but all of our employee owners. Eater Flag is a very special company, and we make an amazing product, one that we can all relate with, which is the flag of the United States. We are very proud to be a manufacturer here in this community and making a product that serves everyone. Oak Creek has been phenomenal to us. I have been with the company myself over 40 years, so I feel like this is a place of home for myself as well as many of our employee owners do as well. Oak Creek has provided a safe, comfortable, diverse community for our employees to live in. And I'm not sure if all of you know this, but we have many countries represented in the staff that we employ. And many of them are immigrants. And so they find, and I hear this often, they like to work for a company, but they like to work at our company because of Oak Creek. They feel comfortable. Inside our four walls, really, Oak Creek mirrors what we have. We have a melting pot of employees that work for us, and I can't stress and thank you enough for providing such a wonderful place for us to exist and for us to run our business, but also for us to be giving towards the community and serve. And we do that in many ways. So some of the ways Mayor Dan actually mentioned, but there's also small things that we do. In fact, this week we are doing a food drive, cans of soup that we collect, and we give that right back to the food pantries locally. So it doesn't always have to be in a big way that we make an impact. It can be in small ways too. So I want to thank you so much for just being encouraging, especially Mayor Dan. You have just been wonderful. You've been encouraging to us. You've been supportive of our company. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that the owner and really the founder of our company, Eugene Eater, he moved us here with the foresight that Oak Creek would be a great place to have a business. But not just a great place for us to have a business, but a community that we could contribute towards. And so I want to also mention he made a great decision for us to plant our roots here, and we plan on continuing to do just that. And it's just been a wonderful journey. And so I also want to mention tomorrow is a really important day for us at our company. We are employee owned. We have over 170 employees right now. And tomorrow we actually announce our stock price value and stock ownership to our employees. So this will be a really awesome thing to also share with them tomorrow during the day at work. We are just honored to be able to accept this award, and I thank all of you for acknowledging us. So thank you very much. But before I end, I also want to mention that I really want to thank you for allowing me to say the pledge. The pledge is very powerful, I feel, when it's said in a community. And I'm very proud. I was very proud to be able to do that tonight. But also we have America's 250 coming right around the corner. And I'm very excited for that, for each of us to experience that in a different way, but also as a community. So we are here to be able to help with that, and we're hoping that in many ways we can contribute next year, especially with America's 250 being celebrated. So thank you again for the proclamation. We appreciate it just more than you can ever know. And thank you for the support that you've given our company.
Thank you, Jody.
Thank you.
Council, any words for Eater?
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'd like to add that we thank you for the donation for the Celebrations Commission and the 4th of July flags that you contribute to us to hand out.
You are very welcome.
The kids love it, and it's always a great an asset.
It's our
our
pleasure.
parade.
Our pleasure.
Hey, Jody, it was actually pre-COVID this the last time we were able to visit your company with over there in Rawson as a leadership team here, and we appreciate everything you
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Jody, I'm going to say a few words. I'm going to brag on you a little more. So I guess I get that privilege right here. Eater is a really special company. As you said, 1959, Oak Creek was a far different place. but the company values still hold its own today. They are part of the community, and we mentioned a couple of events, and those events wouldn't have been possible without Eater's participation. I tell this story a lot, but there was a young boy by the name of Ben Radke who said, "We need more red, white, and blue in the square." Ben was in second grade when he wrote the mayor and asked if we could do that. First person I turned to was Eater Flag and, of course, our DPW, and that resulted in Stars on the Square, which is a walking history tour of all the American flags. All those banners were provided by Eater Flag to the city. Cafe as well. Jody touched on her company. There is a documentary. That's how important Eater is to the not only Oak Creek, but to the nation, called The Flag Makers. If you haven't seen it, I believe it came out in 2022. Streams on Disney.
And there's a copy in the library.
There's a copy in the library. And it's a documentary of those employees, those ESOP employees who came here for opportunity and now work as seamstress in various positions in the company. It's an amazing watch, so please take advantage of that. And more importantly, those people come out at Cafe and they share their diversity, their culture, their roots with the rest of the community. And that event could never have grown to the capacity it has without Eater's participation. They take over the entire splash pad and take up a good quarter of that as well. And our Flag Day celebration. Our Flag Day celebration, we're one of the few communities that celebrate Flag Day, and we should. We got the greatest flag maker in the country right here within Oak Creek. So we started Flag Day, and Eater's a huge part of that as well with our protective services and our fire department in particular. And last year, if you came, you've seen that flag on full display up on our ladder truck, and I believe it was St. Francis as well. This can't be done without them. They play an important part in Oak Creek's history and the country's history. Their flags were at fly over the Capitol, fly over the White House. They flew at 9/11 as well. That was their flag that was saved out of 9/11. Jody, I want to thank you on behalf of all the citizens of Oak Creek, the Common Council, and myself. What we have for you, a proclamation to share with you and your entire employee staff, and you've also earned the Mayoral Challenge coin. These are not given, they are earned, and Eater has done more than its share to earn this coin. So I'd like you, if you could, spare us a moment and get a picture.
Absolutely. And I just want to again say thank you to all of you. I personally would like to extend a tour to you. So I know, Ken, you mentioned a while ago you came for a visit, but any of you, if you're interested, I'd love to be able to grant that again. And just thank you again for acknowledging Eater Flag.
So for a moment, we'll adjourn. Anybody that wants to join me for a picture, we can go under Arthur Abenshine's picture there and maybe get a picture.
last one we did.
Jody,
My memory.
your
is-
flags will be used at City Hall here. We'll be flying over City Hall. Thank you so much.
Joel was, I think Joel ran the meeting.
Okay.
Joel, the engineer. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think that
I
was
wonder if they did acuities.
Wonderful.
February.
Do you know?
What's that?
Did they do acuities?
Jody, we have a question. Acuity, up in Sheboygan, did you do that flag?
Oh, wow.
That's not the largest flag we've made, though. The largest flag that we've actually produced went to the Washington Commanders this season, and it was 150 by 300 feet. That's the largest flag that we've produced. We're pretty much the only manufacturer in the United States that makes flags that are that size. So if you see it on TV, you'll know it's ours.
I just saw it on TV this last week.
Yes, they have been using it a lot.
Yep.
Yeah, so we're very proud. And actually, the place that I want to just say, down the street, we have on 13th, there's the yard. The yard is so generous to us. They allow us to come in and lay out the flag on their fields when they're not using them, so we can make sure that they're precise and measured perfectly. They have been such a great partner to us. So I just wanted to let you know about that. So it's nice to have community.
Thank you again, Jody. Okay, as that's mayoral, we will now re-adjourn the meeting. As that is a mayoral proclamation, we do not need any motion. Item 5 is also a mayoral proclamation. This is for snowplow driving appreciation, which ironically happened this December 2025. Catherine?
Snowplow Driver Appreciation, December 2025. Whereas winter weather presents significant challenges to public safety and mobility, requiring extraordinary efforts to maintain essential travel routes. And whereas the city's 30 snowplow drivers selflessly provide a vital public service, working through harsh conditions and long hours, often sacrificing family time during holidays and weekends to keep our roads safe, clear, and passable. And as skilled operators navigate difficult conditions and make split-second decisions to ensure the safety of motorists while facing low visibility, icy roads, and heavy snow. And whereas winter maintenance is essential to public safety, as plow drivers maintain the city's roadways during winter months by de-icing and anti-icing surfaces to ensure travelers can reach their destinations safely and efficiently. And whereas employees of the Department of Public Works maintain 25 plow routes and clear approximately 316 lane miles of roadway, along with fire and police department facilities and city parks, thereby ensuring safe passage for all. And whereas the city of Oak Creek was the first municipality in Wisconsin to install pavement temperature sensors, providing real-time, city-specific weather and surface condition data that improve forecasting and response planning, and has been named this year's APWA Wisconsin Chapter Award recipient for excellence in snow and ice control. And whereas the Oak Creek Department of Public Works snow plow drivers' commitment to public service is paramount, allowing residents to reach work, school, and essential services, making them true heroes of winter. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Mayor Daniel J. Bakavich, Mayor of the City of Oak Creek, do hereby recognize the city's snowplow drivers and urge all residents of Oak Creek to slow down and exercise caution when encountering snowplows on the roadways, and further extend the city's sincere appreciation to those dedicated workers for their unwavering commitment to keeping our community safe, dated the 16th day of December, 2025.
Thank you, Catherine. Any words for our spectacular DPW?
I will just say, and echo another thank you to DPW. I think Oak Creek does one of the best jobs of any of the municipalities around, and it's really a testament to what we all try to do as a city. So thank you all for the countless hours of hard work, and it's been a heck of a December.
Well said. I thought this was very appropriate, just given the winter season. And to tell you the truth, we put this in motion even before the award happened. That is not an easy thing to come about, to get that award and be recognized by your peers throughout the area. Amazing. Hats off to DPW. Last week, I ran into a long-term resident, Rudy Elms. Rudy's been in the city well over 40 years. He went out of his way to tell me what a spectacular job DPW did over the last snowstorm. He said it was amazing work, and Rudy is a traffic engineer, so he takes the roads very seriously. He's a retired traffic engineer. But he really gave me a fill-in on city history. He said this isn't a recent phenomenon. This has been a legacy in Oak Creek forever, going back countless years, as long as he can remember, over 40 years in Oak Creek, to have the best plowed roads in the area. And it's kind of a running joke within the county. I was at ICC. You can tell when you're leaving and entering Oak Creek by where the roads are plowed and where they're not, going to neighboring municipalities. Hats off to DPW, well deserved. Thank you for all you do. No action is needed on 5, so we will get right into new business. Item 6 is consideration of a resolution to proceed with the Civic Plus for multi-site website redevelopment and digital service and modernization. Got this one. Oh, Marcia. Sorry.
Thank you very much. I'll share my screen. Go through a brief presentation. Kind of walking you through how this came about and going to our recommendations. So, with the budgeting process this year, marketing and public relations, with the support of IT, developed a CIP for website redesign and development, which you all approved earlier with budgeting. Basically, it highlights the need for upgrade to the city's website ecosystem, which includes oakcreekwi.gov, visit oakcreek.com, and the oakcreeklibrary.org. So that it was all due to significant functional, organizational, and compliance challenges. Things that include us needing to get up to compliance with standards effective 2027 for ADA. They're just some of the outdated navigation and information structure. The CMS on which it's built is no longer supported. And then a lot of other things like fragmented online forms and growing demand for resident services. I think we all see how people want to kind of help themselves whenever they can. So in order to accomplish this, we set up a cross-functional or cross-departmental website committee. We broke that group into subgroups to interview every department within the city and get their feedback on, assess their satisfaction with the current website. Are they interested in continuing to maintain their pages on the website? And then what do they feel like our current website is lacking to be able to support their work that they do, but then also support the residents? So with that, the key findings include things like navigation and organization issues. Basically, every department highlighted that. Forms and automation was a very popular thing brought up. Better mobile responsiveness and accessibility for ADA compliance. A more user-friendly CMS for employees. Those of us who are updating the website in the background, it's not very user-friendly at all. Better ability for residents to find information. So our current search functionality goes immediately to Google rather than crawling our website first. So we're looking to enhance that. And then more visuals. If you've been on our website lately, it's really, really text heavy. So we want to make it more visual, easier to interact with, and guide people through their 2 to 3 clicks much more quickly. So with the support of Matt, we issued an RFP in October, and we received 19 proposals. The companies ranged all over the place. So from recently founded companies to those with 25 years of experience, some with only 2 employees, up to 900. Some wanted to develop a custom CMS, and I'm sorry if I assume you're all, it means content management system, to WordPress solutions. And then the prices ranged anywhere from $38,000 up to nearly $500,000. So our review criteria, we went through and reviewed all of these with expertise, the value, so we kind of set a cutoff around $154,000. The maintenance and their uptime that all these companies provide, and then their schedule and capacity to be able to complete the project in the time frame that we were looking for. So our recommendation, the recommendation of the website committee, IT director, and myself is to move forward with Civic Plus. Civic Plus has a high degree of municipal experience. Their CMS capabilities are much more intuitive with drag and drop. They offer a variety of widgets. They have a forms and automation feature, which will really allow us to be able to scale up resident self-service and automation within the city. Their search functionality allows not only for crawling our website first, but we can populate it. So we see that people are looking for certain things, that we can say, when people type in this, look here first. So we're able to do some smart helping of that. And then the ADA compliance, and some of the tools that they offer for this also come with legal backing and support that they will handle if there are any legal challenges. So when we look at the Civic Plus ecosystem, they're not just a website builder, they do a lot of other things. In fact, currently we use 2 modules that the Civic Plus company provides. We're currently using the mass notification system and the social media archiving. With this proposal, we would be adding 3 more: the process automation, the municipal website, and then web accessibility. We see a potential roadmap with the clerk's office and a few other departments over the next 3 years to add potentially 3 to 5 additional modules that would include municipal codification, agenda meeting management, next request, and recreation management possibly. So the summary of the recommended proposal is that we have them build out and implement the 3 sites for oakcreekwi.gov, the library, and Visit Oak Creek. Additional modules would include single sign-on, ADA compliance, 2 of the 3 pieces that they offer we feel is important right now. AudioEye, which is the one that offers legal protection and is a little bit more automated, and then Common Look, which offers ADA compliance, checking for PDFs, which we have a lot of PDFs that we utilize just as a course of business, and then process automation and digital services. This is where we're able to do forms, appointment scheduling, workflows, workflow approvals that currently are a lot of manual process that the city does. So per the SOW that you should have a draft of, the initial investment would be $89,613.47 for the initial implementation of the 3 websites as well as the additional features. The cost of annual services is about $42,500. It's subject to a 5% uplift. However, we've already negotiated a first year, so year 2, no uplift. So the uplift will not take effect until year 3. Our 2025, so to get you an idea of where we're at currently, current website maintenance is costs just under $17,000. And then we also pay for this JotForm. It's another tool that right now only 4 people in the city have access to because it costs $1,500 a person. And so we would be able to eliminate that and open up the use of forms and implementation to more people. In our CIP request, we requested $190,000 for the website. So you'll see we're $100,000 below where that initial implementation was. We estimated a CIP on the CIP, the annual, of about $25,000, And then the JOT form was still included in our budgeting, so that's 31,000. So you see the annual services are slightly over where we thought they would be, but we're adding much more functionality that we believe will pay for itself in soft costs, like efficiency, user satisfaction, and workflow improvement. And I think that's my whole story.
Sure.
Any questions?
Questions for Marcia?
Marcia, what do we have in terms of metrics that we'll be able to pull off? Any new metrics in terms of use, in terms of the value of the work?
I'm sorry, I'm not understanding.
Are there any metrics that'll be involved in being able to measure the effectiveness of the new work?
Yeah, so we also are looking at adding heat mapping, which will allow us to be able to see how people flow through the website better. Right now, on our current website, we have a lot of metrics that we'll be able to bump up against and see how that works. And then as we work with different departments to institute for this, the forms and process automation, we'll be able to work with them and find out things like, I'm just using an example and completely making everything up, but let's say right now it takes us maybe 3 days to process somebody's dog license and get it out because we have to input the request, put it in manually because it comes in as a paper form. We'll be able to go ahead and then measure the efficiencies that are gained when we can convert some of these manual processes then into more automated things.
Will this website have the capability to take payment too? So say you are submitting a dog license, and I'm throwing numbers out here too, and it costs $20. Can the website, does that have the capability to do something like that, or do we still need to do manual payments at City Hall?
So they have their own, and some of this will differ to once we work with the finance department more closely. They have their own payment processing. However, we believe right now what we plan to do is use an iframe where we put in the code to allow it to process through our current choice of processing software.
Yeah.
Actually, for Max or Andrew too. From a budgeting standpoint, are we allocating these across these three entities that probably are supported by these?
Yeah, so when the 2026 CIP was adopted, we did split the costs between the city as well as the tourism commission. So 70% was city funded, 30% tourism commission funded.
And does it matter, the library, is that a separate fund or not?
Because their capital project requests are funded through the general tax levy, just like the city items. It was included in the 70%.
Will that continue with the maintenance?
Yeah, I think that's certainly something we can look at.
Max, and you're not seeing a problem with where we were estimating maintenance to be 41 or 30. We were estimating it to be 31, but it looks like it's coming in at about 42.5. You're not concerned about that differential?
Yeah, I mean, I think what we recognize is that, upgrading the website and going to, a higher level of service is going to have a cost. So, our CSM that Marcia spoke to is pretty outdated, so they don't charge us as much as, say, the new system. So we were expecting that. As Marcia mentioned, the CIP request thought the additional cost would be about $25,000. It's going to be a little bit more than that. And we have some options to try and phase that in over 2 to 3 years of the operating budget. I think one of the strategies we're looking to employ is, maybe we do implementation costs plus, a full or a portion of the first year licensing costs out of the CIP bucket and then phase it into the operating budget, just so we don't experience budgetary challenges.
I, for one, glad to see we're updating it. I tried to walk a resident through on the phone as to where you had to go. It's quite a cumbersome process to get to an application if you're looking for a boards or commission. That's what we are specifically talking about. It'd be so much easier if it just said, here, Pretty simple guy that way. So I'm glad to see it. Will this put any additional burden onto either our IT department or servers or equipment upgrades, with it being Tom's saying no? Oh, okay.
I can speak to that better, but I don't
Okay.
believe so. Marketing is picking up a lot of the project itself, and then the maintenance moving forward with our expanded team. And then I think across the entire city, there will be a lift to this, as there always is when you're doing a new website, because every department is going to need to participate to ensure that we're meeting their needs and understanding resident needs from their perspective. So there will be some uplift with all of our fellow departments, but overall, we have almost the whole year to take care of.
And keep in mind, I'm not sure about exactly the library or the other ones, but I can tell you Visit Oak Creek's traffic has picked up immensely in the last year, as well as Facebook and everything else that's being done here in the city. The numbers are just staggering as how much they've increased. So I think it's just part of doing business at this point.
It is, and especially, so I'll add from our department's perspective, with what we're being asked to do by the Tourism Commission and our hotel partners, without improving that side of the website, so that visit portion, it would be hard for us to compete and to move into recruiting meetings and other things here. We just aren't telling the same story the same way as other cities like us.
Okay. Any other further questions or discussion? Okay. Not, motion please.
I will move to approve resolution 12645-121625 to proceed with Civic Plus for multi-site website redevelopment and digital services modernization.
Marshall will second.
Roll call?
Alderman Ritz.
Aye.
Marshall.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Guzekowski.
Aye.
Haas.
Aye.
Lorick.
Item 7 is consideration of an ordinance repealing and recreating section 7.160 to recreate section 7.161 through 7.164 of the municipal code relating to special events. Melissa?
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, council. This I am going to introduce, but I would say that I was part of the last stop of this project that's been going on for over a year, at a minimum, more than that, actually. And Chief Stecker is here, as is certainly our city clerk to pipe in with anything additional. This is an effort that has involved every department, everyone being able to weigh in on things that could be improved, and consistent with, from my perspective, and correct me if I'm wrong, the reviews behind the scenes that have been going on for many, many years to make sure that the city has successful and safe events. So, the ordinance before you tonight is more expansive than what we have currently in our code, which is really limited to runs, walks, triathlons, parades, processions, and athletic events. We all know that many other things have been occurring, and we have been working to facilitate the management and also ensuring that the activation is something that is growing events, but also in terms of public safety and other community involvement, trying to maximize our footprint. So I am going to just highlight a couple of the pieces in the ordinance, and then certainly, Chief, if you want to peg off of that or fill in as I go through it. The highlights here, it's always interesting where after such a project, there's just a couple of pages for you to look at, a few paragraphs, but it's very intentional. And so I would say that the definitions section is really one of those pieces. We're really looking at special events from applicants who are outside of the city-sponsored events. That's to be made clear. In terms of the process, the bigger picture, we're going to handle the management and intake of these applications as we have been, certainly for the time being, which I would submit on the front end. Your staff should really be commended in the clerk's office in funneling out applications to the various departments where they anticipate that it might involve DPW or police. There might be a barricade issue, there might be a street closure issue, there might be some health department concerns as well. So to that extent, we don't anticipate most of the process to change by any means, but really to give better support and definition. One of the pieces that we call out here is extraordinary services. So that really encapsulates what's been happening in terms of those departments where they are stepping up and for the events that are larger than not or specific. We had the Toad event, the Tour of America's Dairyland this year, which certainly, and it's coming back. So there's a lot of departments that are touched by an event like that, and it certainly affects city services in a good way, but we want to be prepared. The other pieces that I would speak to are just that in terms of, like I said, the review, we will have any applications that may have issues that are specific or something that may be requested that might be a little bit unusual, that can go before our license committee, as other permits do right now, such as a bartender or a transient merchant or anything like that. The one piece that I would additionally point out is that we have built into this ordinance that there could be an extension of hours for a special event that's granted a permit, meaning the hours could be extended until midnight on Fridays, Saturdays, holidays, and holiday weekends. That's for the event only. Music could also be extended, but only until 11 o'clock during those same special days. Our current ordinance otherwise provides for music, noise of that nature to conclude by 10 o'clock. So I have the basic pieces to share with you, and I guess the more interesting pieces I would defer to Chief Stecker and our city clerk if there's anything else. But happy to answer any questions so far.
Good evening. David Stecker, Chief of Police. I would also be willing to answer any questions. City Attorney Carls did a fantastic job of succinctly getting through that, but I'd also be remiss if I did not thank everyone that's been involved in this in the last year and a half. City Clerk Catherine Reske, myself, Francesca, all of the departments. So when we really get to it, I think if I can just take this for a second, I'd be remiss if I didn't say the values that we set forth, all 5 of our core values for the city, were definitely put to task for this, and we went full circle on those as we went through, everyone being involved and making sure that we do this and we do it right. The current ordinance that we had, as already discussed, was not meeting the needs of the city. Those needs were probably last met when I was a wee child and was at the 4th of July parade, and that was all that we really had in the city. We've come a long way in that time. We've grown a lot, and making sure that we get all of those things encompassed, but also taking a lot of the procedures that we've come to have involved over the years, make sure that we're applying them correctly and the same across everyone that applies. So we did look at those. We took a lot of those suggestions in place and making sure that we have a good procedure in place, as well as a way for people to dispute those things if there was a challenge to this. I think we've done a good job on this, and our biggest one is probably to make sure that we have noise done at a certain point, and music done at a certain point as well, but through this special event permit, giving a little leeway there and finding a middle ground. With that, I'd also defer to City Clerk Catherine Reske if she had anything to add or answer any specific questions that you have regarding this.
I don't have anything to add. This has been a request from a lot of the departments for a very long time. All departments do coordinate on special events, and we tried very hard to include everybody who would have input or be part of the process. So if you have any questions,
I have a quick question.
Andrew?
I'll just add, if I could, quick, just,
you read the ordinance that we were working with, and as Chief Stecker said, we've grown a lot. So over the course of these many years, though, the clerk's office has really helped put a process in place to help, these things go off safely and as efficiently as possible, without really the teeth of the ordinance behind us to do so. So that was an awesome job by this group to look through all of the best practices that are out there and bring something together that made sense. There was a lot of effort on this. And lastly, I'm especially thankful I saw versions of this ordinance that were maybe twice as long. So you guys did a really good job of boiling down what it is we need without being excessive. And I don't think there's a ton of room for interpretation in this ordinance. It tightened up pretty nicely. We do have other instructions and things we give these applicants to go through the process. So it's not just this to go by. And of course, we're always there to support folks trying to bring vibrancy to our community. So thank you for all the efforts on this.
Someone else? Greg?
Just have a quick question, and maybe I'm not saying that anything needs to be rewritten or added for one or two circumstances, but with the holidays and Halloween just passing, I actually went to a home haunted house in the city of Milwaukee that doesn't look like it would really fit any of these special events, but there were hundreds of people lining the sidewalks and streets waiting to get into this home. I'm not saying that I'm doing that, but with Christmas displays, Halloween displays, things like that are completely on private property, is there anything that may be looked at or need to be added if somebody were to set up like a home haunted house for a charity or an extremely large Christmas display that draws lots of people? There's no road closures, but there was probably 300 people in line on the sidewalk of this house when I went there. I can only see it being a nuisance to the neighbors. The person running it was an alderwoman in the city, and it was for charity. It was a good event, but it just seemed like an accident waiting to happen.
Sure, I believe that any of those things that would come up, and that's kind of why you're looking at me right now, and you're like, why is the chief of police up here heading this? It's, when something goes wrong or there's a question, we call the police department to find out, and then we start going from there to peel all the layers back and find out how do we deal with this and what's the best course moving forward, and not kick it to the next year and tumble where it's not my problem anymore. That day's passed. In this instance, we haven't had any of those. I think what we've had over the years, though, is people put on some decent displays and they go through. I don't think that there's anything right now on the surface, and I'd leave that to both the city attorney and clerk to also comment on that. Doesn't give us some leeway through here to deal with those things. I mean, they could do a block party. That's an option for certain things to do some of that closing down of that portion. They would have to pull that permit. There's also different things that we could do through our guidelines that aren't necessarily on here that we don't need to have necessarily struck out in the ordinance, but give us guidance administratively how we're going to handle those things that come up.
Questions, comments?
I do, Melissa. Just in light of the Bender Beach Bash, because Bender Park is a county park, none of this would affect that, would it?
Correct. So, as to Alderman Lorik's last question, the chief's comments, and your question, Alderwoman Marshall. So we permit city property, city spaces. We do not have jurisdiction over county spaces. That wouldn't be something where we would be issuing a special event permit. Whether or not that's going to be something that's resurrected again, we certainly, I presume, would be informed with a little bit of a heads up if there's going to be a request for any sort of public safety pieces.
So legally, just because you mentioned the extended hours for music, they would still have to abide by that, would they not? Because they still need a beer and wine license as well.
Do you mean
Or
the county event? I'm sorry.
At an event that would be on a county property, would they still have to abide by the noise ordinance for the city? Or
Yes.
does the county have a separate ordinance?
I don't believe that the county does have separate ordinances. Offhand, I can't speak if they do or don't have a separate noise ordinance. My guess would be that they don't, because they're not out enforcing those. It's the local jurisdictions that do. Because they wouldn't have this permit, they would be bound to the normal time constraints of the noise ordinance.
And if I could just add, so if it is a county property, county park, Milwaukee County Parks does issue the special event permit. However, because the property is in the city of Oak Creek, liquor licensing would need to come through the clerk's office here in Oak Creek. And then the expectation would be that there would be coordination if the event was to fall outside of the county park space. So if there was parking throughout the city for an event, that would be something that, we would coordinate with the county.
So technically, if they wanted extended hours, they could apply for our permit as well. I'm sorry, I know it seems.
I would defer that one to city attorney. I believe the way that's written right now is it doesn't pertain to county park things, so we're not issuing a special event permit on county parks.
Okay, thank you.
And then just one other thing to Alderman Lorik's question. We have had many events in the city where I am contacted with a special event request application, advising that there is going to be a 400-person event at a home or a residential. So no matter what that would be, I do go through a litany of guidelines with them as far as parking noise, kind of to be proactive in what that event could become. It would be entirely on private property. So if they're doing tent or a band or booze, whatever they're doing, that's entirely on their private property. But we do get those requests, and we try to, foresee any challenges that might come up for our police department in off-duty hours or, or city closure hours. We do collaborate with those departments. Your specific example we haven't had, but we've had many that are very similar.
I think in a similar thing years ago, the Fairfield subdivision rummage was so big we had to shut down parking on one side of each road. Similar, we're aware of that. We can work that out ahead of time to make sure that public safety issues are managed for both police to get in, for citizens that live there to get in and out, as well as fire apparatuses to get in. That's probably the biggest part of trying to get a larger apparatus in. That's always our model. We need this to be able to get in.
So I think the answer is they would need a special event. Public safety support is needed.
Yeah, thanks. Just out of protocol, are all special events, Catherine, or in the future will go to licensing, or will they be only something that's considered unusual, or how are we thinking about that?
I know you asked Catherine, Alderman Gale, but the anticipation is only if there's something controversial. So it's not unlike a lot of things I think that the council sees perhaps on the consent agenda for license committee. The anticipation is that from my discussions with my coworkers, we don't expect a lot to change. This is supposed to be facilitative, just things that we've learned, especially in the last 10 years with this space, Drexel Town Square being here, seeing how this space will be programmed and utilized by applicants and certainly the city-sponsored events. So we don't anticipate a significant uptick, but it would come before licensing and then ultimately before council.
I'm just wondering how we, it's high-level language. Get a special event permit, it gives you apparently hours of operation, basically, whether it's unusual or not, right? Music can go to 11. Permit.
So I'll speak for myself. I think it depends on the nature of the activity. I mean, it isn't.
Who's determining that?
Staff is going, so an application is going to come in as it already does. It's received by the clerk's office. When the application is perfected, you have your map, you have your activities, you have your vendors lined up, you have the anticipation that you're going to need, a special liquor license, you have a request for music, you have a request for a street closure. All of those pieces need to be baked in. Then the application is going to be shared with whatever departments may be affected or would, you know, be supporting in terms of whatever services they provide. So based upon that, and staff does this now, then there would be an assessment of what city services would be needed, and I would submit music would not be a part of every special event permit. And so it's not intended to open up more issues. It's really just for a specific music event or an event that already has something provided. So the default would be 10 o'clock is under our noise ordinance, when certainly all noise levels need to be abided by.
If I could add, most of the large events that we have in the city, whether it be city or sponsored by a resident or a business, typically occur in our city parks, which close at 10 p.m. So those events really wouldn't apply. If I could use an example of at the American Legion Fairgrounds, there's an event that wouldn't be a city park, that time consideration for noise, for music would be considered by the police department. But other than that, if there's any other event that comes in, they're having a band, it's on a street, it's on their backyard, whatever, we go through a lot of recommendations on how that should be handled by the resident, let your neighbors know, that you are still under the guise of the noise ordinance. So there really, I don't anticipate any changes to this request. There's just the one event in the city that I would think would fall
I'm
into
just
this area.
wondering about unanticipated.
No, and I can't, and I, in that review, if there was a request for that, that wouldn't be something that would just be rubber stamped and just go through, and then as an alderperson, you find out that this exception had been made. That would go through the police department and be collaborated with, elected officials, I would think, as well.
So the best way to look at this right now is what this is really codifying what we've been doing for many years. Also with that, our current noise ordinance has some exceptions to it. One of them at the end is the chief police can allow loud noise beyond the time limit. This is a better way to go through that, so it's not arbitrary, and we have things that go through a process instead of my position allowing things for one and maybe not another.
I, for one, I'm glad to see it come about. It's been managed well by PD and fire, clerk's office. But for safety, there's been some events for charity that have one-day events that have risen, and there's been some safety factors to take into consideration that weren't there. So hopefully this will help address that. And we are growing, so we don't know what will come of it. You gave an example of rummage sales, things of that nature. I don't anticipate a St. Martin's type fair atmosphere anywhere, but who knows what happens in 10, 20 years. So glad to see that it's down there and it'll be far more manageable.
Thank you.
Any other questions, discussions? Okay, seeing none, motion.
Marshall moves to adopt ordinance number 3144 to repeal and recreate section 7.160 and create section 7.161 through 7.164 of the municipal code relating to special events.
Who's got to go second?
Roll call.
Alderwoman Marshall.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Guzekowski.
Aye.
Haas.
Aye.
Lorick.
Aye.
Ritz.
Aye.
Item 8 is consideration of a motion to confirm the mayor's appointment of Brian Johnston as the Director of Utilities effective January 3rd, 2026.
You can take that one, Mayor. Thank you. We, as a group with the council, a couple meetings ago, I believe before Thanksgiving, met. We had the chance to talk about Brian, his performance and various roles with the city over the years, and his skills and attributes, most importantly. And I think we arrived pretty quickly at a unanimous conclusion that certainly this is the right move for the city and the utility at this time with what Brian brings to the table. the fact that Brian has really learned and transferred knowledge and positioned himself in professional groups and things over these several years as utility engineer. This makes a ton of sense, and we couldn't be more thrilled to offer Brian's appointment up for the Common Council's consideration.
Questions, comments? Say anything, Brian, or you just want to sit back? You good? Ah, come on up. You waited this long.
No, I'm just honored for this opportunity to take the next role as the utility director of utilities and see where we can go from here. So, got some big shoes to fill with people that have been there before, and have some great employees that we're working with. And with our project coming up, this is going to be some really exciting times for us at the utility. So, appreciate the honor and opportunity.
Great. Brian's been with the city a good long time. He worked in our engineering department and then went over to water. And he worked under one of the best in business under Mike Sullivan. So I think this is just a great opportunity of the continuity Oak Creek enjoys and the expertise it has within its personnel. So great, Brian. I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you.
Way to go, Ryan.
If there's no discussion, motion on 8, please.
Yeah, I'll move to confirm the mayor's appointment of Brian Johnson as Director of Utilities effective January 3rd, 2026.
Marshall will second.
Roll call.
Alderman Gale.
Aye.
Guzekowski.
Aye.
Haas.
Aye.
Lorik.
Aye.
Ritz.
Aye.
Marshall.
Aye.
And item 9 is consideration of an ordinance repealing and recreating section 2.32, sub A, sub 2, 2.72, sub A, sub 6, 7.101, sub O. That's an O. And 18.01 of the municipal code relating to the Board of Public Works and Capital Assets Emergency Management Advisory Committee. Standards for mobile home parks and utility supervision. Thank you, Melissa.
Thank you,
That's a
Mayor.
lot.
I think that he just shared the entirety of this ordinance, so I won't repeat it, but congratulations to Brian, and this is a cleanup, an updating of the pertinent sections for the position of Director of Utilities. So we have pulled them into one with the assistance from the clerk's office and certainly review by our city administrator. And these are the 4 sections that we are asking you to update related to that position. Happy to answer any questions.
Questions? Okay. Seeing none, motion, please.
Yeah, sorry, go Alicia.
Haas moves to approve ordinance number 3145, repealing and recreating sections 2.32, sub A, sub 2, 2.72, sub A, sub 6, 7.101, sub O, and 18.01 of the municipal code relating to the Board of Public Works and Capital Assets Emergency Management Advisory Committee, standards for mobile home parks, and utility supervision.
Lorik seconds.
Roll call.
Alderman Guzekowski.
Aye.
Haas.
Aye.
Lorik.
Aye.
Ritz.
Aye.
Marshall.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Item 10 is Public Works and Utility, and it's consideration of a motion to award amendment number 1 to the agreement for professional services for the underground facility rehabilitation project to Jacobs in the amount not to exceed $2,687,000.
It's a big number. Good evening. This is an amendment to our existing contract we have with Jacobs. This is the transfer from design to construction phase for the underground facilities rehab project at the treatment plant. So that plant project is estimated at $52 million. So this is a small piece of that entire project. This work will get us through the construction of the project. It also includes some work that they have, extra work that they've done on the site design through the design process for Ramble and Grave, and extra work that Jacobs has done as well. So that portion is in there too. Happy to answer your questions.
Any questions? Okay, seeing none, motion.
Yeah, we'll move to award amendment number 1 to the agreement for professional services for the underground facilities rehabilitation project to Jacobs in the amount not to exceed $2,687,000.
Seconds.
Roll call.
Alderwoman Hess.
Aye.
Lorik.
Aye.
Ritz.
Aye.
Marshall.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Guzekowski.
Aye.
And item 11 is consideration of a resolution approving the distributed energy resource agreement between Voltus Inc. and the City of Oak Creek. Is that you, Melissa?
You know what, I'll go first, Mayor,
Okay.
because mine is going to be more of an overview, and the technical expertise will go to our Director of Utilities. So before Mike Sullivan left, he gave me the gift of reviewing this agreement, and I can tell you that I had a number of exchanges with the vendor. They were anxious to get this buttoned up before the end of the year. In any event, the bottom line is that there will be utility revenue estimated at $30,000. In terms of participation in this agreement, there is no outlay to the city. Brian can speak to those other pieces, but the one pieces I wanted to point out to the council were that we made a couple of revisions, namely as to the Exhibit 1, the facility address is just for our water treatment facility, and we updated that to include just the one address, the 9325 South Fifth Avenue, and otherwise, I will let Brian take it away.
So this is kind of a unique opportunity. This company's been going throughout the state, working with large electrical users, trying to offload some of that peak demand. So if the grid sees an electrical increase and they need to offload some of that, we're able to go onto our generators, free up some space on their grid, and they pay us for this opportunity. They put some controllers in our system so that they can monitor the electrical use in the area and know how much energy we're using, how much we can offload at that time, and help everybody with the electrical needs throughout the community and the area. So it seems to be a win-win opportunity for everybody. Janesville and Beloit also use this. They have been very happy with this, and it's a way for us to get some money and exercise our generator at the same time.
Questions?
Brian, can you remind us of the nature and the age, newness, and operating status of our generator, backup generators you have on site that would actually stand in?
Generators went in, I believe it was in the 2010 project, but those generators are exercised weekly. We do put loads on them. We've started using them more with operators. When we had 2 years ago, I believe it was, storm come through, we lost power, it switched over to the generators, and having a single operator on staff there, he was overwhelmed with the generator use. So just different routines that we're going through now, using our generators and exercising them more. This will help with that and get us online with the generator use. So.
In terms of incremental use?
From
Repair and that kind of thing?
Yeah, from the information that we received from them, this is a very minimal use. It's as needed, and in this area, there's not a whole lot of need for that. We do have the opportunity that if we're not able to switch over to the generator, we can deny doing that and stay on regular power as well.
Hop off to?
Yes.
Any other questions? Just for information, very large users of power have been doing this for years. Places like Charter Steel, Patrick McKay, folks like that. This is very similar to the old Focus on Energy program where they could turn your air conditioner off during times. They pay you like $20 a month for it. I was on that program. Never happened. I just collected $20 for a matter of about 4 years till they cut the program. So again, as Brian pointed out, this also exercises the generators, which need to be done anyways. I find it very beneficial to the city. And then having the option not to do it. And believe it or not, this presentation is actually pretty cool reading for the grid. Integrid. Sorry, I'm nerding out here. So, any other questions? Comments? Okay, seeing none, motion then, please.
Marshall moves to adopt resolution 12641-121625, approving the distributed energy resource agreement between Voltus Incorporated and the city of Oak Creek.
Seconds.
Roll call?
Alderman Lorik.
Aye.
Ritz.
Aye.
Marshall.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Guzekowski.
Aye.
Haas.
Aye.
Item 12 is fire, and it's consideration of a resolution approving the Wisconsin Covenant Stroke Program collaboration agreement between the Wisconsin Association of Free and Charitable Clinics and the city of Oak Creek through its fire department. We have Chief Kresick to explain this.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Mike Kresick, Fire Chief, tonight requesting your consideration for adoption of a resolution authorizing the fire department to participate in the Coverdell Stroke Program. The Coverdell Stroke Program is administered by the state of Wisconsin DHS office. And basically the premise behind it is it seeks to find programming to prevent strokes from occurring in a community as well as treat those that have been affected by strokes. Roughly 5%, just a bit under 5% of the population deaths are due to stroke, and it is a problem we do experience within our community. This particular agreement kind of codifies with the fire department the activities we would perform in terms of preventing, identifying populations that may be at risk for stroke, setting up preventative measures, and for those that have experienced strokes, setting them up with resources on the pathway to recovery. There is a financial component to this, a stipend paid back to the department for participation, and the elements that we are agreeing to participate with involve data collection, identifying at-risk communities, and participating with the Coverdell program on new initiatives. I can tell you that during the next period, the focus will be on hypertension, treating high blood pressure in an effort to reduce the prevalence of stroke. We did participate during the last period, not as a formal contracted participant, but rather as an observer. We were contacted by the Coverdell program, did observe what they were doing, and found it to be a very worthwhile program. The activities with the Coverdell program mesh very closely with our MIH Community Paramedicine program. That is who the initial contact was with. We think it dovetails very nicely to our community prevention items. There was one, per our city attorney, one item in the agreement that was related to reporting. We did contact Coverdell. They have absolutely zero problem. They've made the change, and we do have that new agreement. So happy to report that was cleaned up. Be happy to answer any questions about this program.
Questions for the chief?
Will you guys be collaborating at all with the health department as well?
Now, that's a great question. There are going to be several outside entities within the county that we will be collaborating with. What tends to happen on the DHS side of things, as the health departments in the county get involved in similar programming or similar preventative efforts, that's when we would mesh and collaborate with them. Yep.
Do you require special training for staff?
No, the community paramedicine team has already been trained up to a level that most likely exceeds what Coverdell is looking for. So our participation is merely now with the programming and the initiatives they put forward.
No further discussion or questions for the chief? Motion.
Ritzel, move to adopt resolution number 12639-121625, approving the Wisconsin Coverdell Stroke Program Collaboration Agreement between the Wisconsin Association of Free and Charitable Clinics and the city of Oak Creek through its fire department.
Seconds.
Roll call?
Alderman Ritz.
Aye.
Marshall.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Guzekowski.
Aye.
Haas.
Aye.
Lorik.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, chief. Item 13 is informational technology. It is consideration of a resolution approving the intergovernmental agreement for information technology services between the City of Oak Creek and the City of South Milwaukee. Tom's approaching.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members. Tom Kramer, IT Director. Today we're looking to sign a longer term with South Milwaukee on their information technology intergovernmental agreement. We've been doing their IT for the last decade, which is crazy to think about. So 2016 is when we started. We have developed a very good working relationship with their administration as well as their end users. We have really good tempo with their requests and the technology that they have. Last year, we extended this agreement by 1 year to kind of assess how we stood after the dispatch agreement. From the IT perspective, we actually saw a reduction in after-hours calls as well as their PD tickets. So it's has been working out pretty nicely. So with that, we're trying to extend this agreement to 2034, which is the end of the dispatch agreement as well. On average, South Milwaukee puts in about 1,300 tickets a year, which sounds like a lot, but it's not too bad. And we spend about roughly 565 hours of staff time a year with South Milwaukee. The funds from South Milwaukee pay for or help pay for one of our full-time help desk technicians. Happy to answer any questions. But
Questions for Tom concerning the agreement? Boy, I didn't realize it was that long.
Yeah.
This time flies. All right. It has been a successful collaboration between the cities. Looked upon very favorably in the area, services we provide for them. And, you know, kudos to you to align that as well with the dispatch contract as well. If there's no discussion or questions, motion, please.
House moves to adopt resolution number 12644-121625, approving the intergovernmental agreement for informational technology services between the City of Oak Creek and the City of South Milwaukee.
Ork, seconds.
Roll call.
Alderwoman Marshall.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Guzekowski.
Aye.
Haas.
Aye.
Lorick.
Aye.
Fritz.
Thank you, Tom. Item 14 is consideration of a motion to approve the purchase of an HVAC rooftop unit from Train US, Inc. in the amount of $56,647. And this is for facilities, Matt.
Thank you, Mayor. Matt Sullivan, Assistant City Administrator and City Engineer. Before you is that motion to approve the purchase of the HVAC system. This system was put back in 2009 when we renovated the DPW facility. The useful life is right around 15 years, so we are 1 year beyond. There's been significant work done on it. We're getting to the point where basically the products are going to be outliving itself and the cost to maintain. We went through Train, who runs through the Omni Racine Cooperative Program. This is a publicly master contract. So all the work's done for us. We don't have to go out to bid. We get the best price. We were made aware that there will be an increase of 5 to 6% starting in 2026. That's why we're bringing this forward to you prior to that to get us under contract and save some money. We budgeted 70,000, so we're well beyond or well below with the 56,000. Be happy to answer any questions.
Questions for Matt regarding the unit? Seeing none, motion.
Sorry,
Oh,
Dan.
I'm sorry.
Just thinking, obviously, if we end up doing something incremental on that building, unit scalable, or we just add new units, or how would you think about that?
We would probably have to add a separate unit. I'd work with Dick on that, obviously, to make sure if we needed to scale that up. But currently, right now, it works just for the space that's been provided for.
And that's the only unit on that building of this need?
Yes.
Okay.
And this is all for the people space up front.
Right in.
Any other questions? Okay, hearing none, motion.
So move to approve the purchase of an HVAC rooftop unit from Train US Inc. in the amount of $56,647.
Marshall, second.
Roll call.
Alderman Gale.
Aye.
Guzekowski.
Aye.
Haas.
Aye.
Lorick.
Aye.
Ritz.
Aye.
Marshall.
Aye.
And item 15 is engineering. It's consideration of a resolution providing a 10-year limited term conservation easement to MMSD for portions of the property located at 8940 South. Man,
Thank you, Matt. Mayor, Matt Sullivan, Assistant City Administrator and City Engineer. Before you is that resolution to provide that conservation easement. This is the last step in order for us to get our reimbursement of slightly more than $1.1 million we have in Green Solutions. This is effort from our previous environmental engineer, Sue Winnen, and now our environmental specialist, Josie. A lot of work's been put into it to get us to this point. MMSD has basically approved all the documents that we've submitted. This is the last step prior to them issuing our reimbursement. So very important, big deal. It's going to help us continue to move forward with our improvements out at the lakefront. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
questions, comments for Matt? The MMSD Green Seams program is just an excellent program, and all their service areas, a lot of what they've done down there. Most people think it's just water treatment down there, but they're really putting into the environment to absorb some of that rain and improve the environment all the way around. And if you've toured the lakefront, you can see the results that are already. It's working well. Great program. I hear there could be some federal cuts to it in the future. So, it's really great. They've been a great working partner for us here at Town Square, other parts of the city, and just helping us cap the lakefront.
Yes, correct. And there'll be more coming forward with other
Yes.
projects. So
Yes, without a
very
doubt.
soon.
So great working partners, MMS. Okay, seeing none, motion.
Marshall will move to approve resolution number 12640-121625, providing a 10-year limited term conservation easement to MMSD for portions of the property located at 8940 South Fifth Street.
Seconds.
Roll call.
Alderman Guzekowski.
Aye.
Haas.
Aye.
Lorick.
Aye.
Ritz.
Aye.
Marshall.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye. Item 16 is also engineering, and it's consideration of a resolution approving the state municipal financial agreement for the state-led highway project on Highway 36 from Oakwood Road to Grange Avenue.
Thank you, Mayor. Matt Sullivan, Assistant City Administrator and City Engineer. Before you is that resolution with the state municipal financial agreement. If you recall, in previous terms or other projects we've had with the state, we just have one general agreement. The state, in their wisdom, has decided to split them. One is the financial part, and the next item will be the maintenance agreement. Generally speaking, they were always lumped together. But the financial agreement for this is roughly $247,000 for city non-participating funds. This will address a lot of the areas on Howell Avenue that we had previously worked on for the water main breaks, and our last water main project where compaction was a little tougher under the conditions we were under. This will be a more cost-effective approach instead of us going in there, putting up traffic control again. I spoke with our now utility director, Brian Johnston, and the cost for some of the traffic control was close to $1 million on the last project. So take advantage of what's going to be happening in the next year in 2027 or 2026 with their project for the rehabilitation on Howell. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Questions? Again, road construction's a necessary evil. Seem to be getting a lot of it here in Oak Creek, but it does improve future transportation. It does make us safer. There's no other questions? Motion.
I'll move to approve resolution number 12642-121625, approving the state/municipal financial agreement for state-led highway project on State Highway 38 from Oakwood Road to Grange Avenue.
Seconds.
Roll call.
Alderwoman Haas.
Aye.
Lorick.
Aye.
Ritz.
Aye.
Marshall.
Aye.
Gale. Guzekowski.
Aye. Item 17 is the second half of that agreement, and it's a consideration of a resolution approving the state municipal maintenance agreement upon completion of the Wisconsin Department of Transportation state-led rehabilitation program along State Highway 38 from Oakwood Road to Grange.
Thank you, Mayor. Matt Sullivan, Assistant City Administrator and City Engineer. Before you is that maintenance agreement that we just spoke about. So this basically covers our responsibilities as a municipality on what is required for us. As regards to maintenance, that's plowing of sidewalks, the crosswalks, anything on the auxiliary lanes, under state statutes 84.07, so it pretty much mirrors the state statutes and their procedures and principles within the WSDOT. Very common and similar done in the past, but I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Questions on the maintenance agreement? Seeing none, motion?
I'll move to approve resolution 12643-121625, approving the state/municipal maintenance agreement upon completion of the Wisconsin Department of Transportation state-led rehabilitation project along State Highway 38 from Oakwood Road to Grange Avenue.
Lorik seconds.
Roll call?
Alderman Lorik.
Aye.
Ritz.
Aye.
Marshall.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Guzekowski.
Aye.
Hess.
And item 18 is the license committee. I will turn that over to Alderman Ritz.
Thank you, Mayor. Included in your packet are the various license requests recommended by the licensing committee. Please look them over and let me know if you have any questions. Hearing no questions, Ritz will move to approve the various license requests as listed on the 12/16/25 License Committee Report.
Seconds.
I just have a question. I guess I do have a question.
Okay.
On item 3, for the Gastro Golf Center, they listed at 1300 West Bryan Road. Or, I'm sorry, I said Rawson. It's listed as Ryan. Unless they have an office.
Ah,
I'm sure it's a
Assume
typo.
it's just intended.
We'll correct that.
Okay. East
Rawson.
should be, yeah, they got 1300 West Ryan Road.
Oh, then it probably is. Maybe they do have some.
Well, if the motion is amended to include Gastro's Golf Center at 1300 East Rawson Avenue and any other that may have been on the application, we can take a look at it.
About that, guys.
Their list is 1300 East Rawson Avenue. Fine.
So, you want to repeat that, Melissa?
I'm sorry, that was a terrible, I guess I would just ask if the motion is amended to provide for the Gastro's Golf Center located at 1300 East Rawson Avenue in Oak Creek. So moved.
So stated, so moved.
And then if there's a second.
Second.
Seconds.
Okay. Now we have a motion and a second on the floor with the amended address. All in favor? I'm sorry, roll call.
Alderman
Wrong
Ritz.
meeting.
Aye.
Marshall.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Guzekowski.
Aye.
Hess.
Aye.
Lorik.
Item 19 is consideration to approve the December 10th, 2025 vendor summary report in the amount of $744,006.97. You do have the report. If there are any questions, please take the floor and address the appropriate person you think can answer. No questions or discussion? Motion?
Marshall will move we approve the December 10th, 2025 vendor summary report in the total of $744,006.97.
Guzekowski seconds.
Roll call?
Alderwoman Marshall.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Guzekowski.
Aye.
Hess.
Aye.
Lorik.
Aye.
Ritz.
Aye.
Before we adjourn, this is our last council meeting for the year, correct?
Oh.
Yeah, it's been a fast year. If anybody wants to say anything, any words?
You know who?
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
To say the least. Just a couple things. We just got through our 70th year. Oak Creek, actually, its birthday was yesterday, so happy belated birthday to the city of Oak Creek. To all the residents out there, it's been a privilege to serve you. Thank you for all your input that you've given us through the year and support. Wish you a healthy, happy, and safe holiday season as well as prosperous 2026. To all you on council, thank you for everything you do. You certainly make my job easier, and to the staff, city staff, and all departments, thank you. I say this all the time, the real magic of Oak Creek is that it's people, its residents, and we have some of the best around, so thank you for all you do. Enjoy your holiday, and please be safe and prosperous. Nothing more to be said. Motion for adjournment, please.
Ritzel motion for adjournment.
5 seconds.
Roll call.
Alderman Gale.
Aye.
Guzekowski.
Aye.
Pez.
Aye.
Lorick.
Aye.
Ritz.
Aye.
Marshall.
Aye.
Thank you all. Enjoy the holiday.